Name is Joseph Q, and what I did was the selective oxidation of alcohols using the Oxammonium cation. The Oxammonium cation was first developed by Golubev, but extensively researched by Dr. Bobbitt, who is an emeritus professor here at UConn. And what I did was, Dr. Bobbitt has already done some preliminary studies on the oxidation of alcohols, the relative rates of these oxidations to aldehydes and ketones. And what I did was follow up on that with a few more alcohols, with the studies of a few more alcohols to aldehydes. And what we found was that the benzylic ones are actually much faster than the aliphatic ones, because what we think the mechanism is, which is a hydride abstraction to create a carbocation, which would obviously favor the more electron-rich aromatic ones as opposed to the electron-poor aliphatic ones. That's also supported by the substituent, the type of substituent on the benzene ring. Electron-withdrawing ones destabilize carbocations, so that's why something like pyronitro-benzyl alcohol that reacts much slower than something like pyrimethoxy-benzyl alcohol. So to follow that up, we did the same thing for the aldehydes. Now the aldehydes, they aren't oxidized directly. They go through a hydrate in water, because this reaction can only be done in water. Now, without water, the reaction does nothing. So what we found is that aldehydes that can create hydrates better, such as octanol, thiavaldehyde, they react much faster than the aromatic ones, especially like methoxy, benzaldehyde, or any of them actually. And the reason for that is the aromatic aldehydes actually conjugated to the aromatic ring, which actually disfavors the formation of the hydrate. So that's why they react slower. However, the hydrate equilibrium is not the only thing that determines the rate, since the hydrate is also an alcohol, that oxidation will follow the same mechanism as the alcohol oxidations themselves. So if the hydrate has electron withdrawing groups on it, it'll go slower, which we see with chloral hydrate, which is an aliphatic one, except it looks like pyrivaldehyde, except these methyl groups are replaced by chlorines. So that's very electron withdrawing. So the oxidation of that hydrate won't be as quick, which is why chloral hydrate just sits there like nothing. And Dr. Bobbitt has also created a method for oxidizing alcohols in the absence of water to aldehydes and ketones, but he's never done the same thing to make carboxylic acid, which requires aqueous conditions. So that's what I did during the summer. Oh, and one more thing. These relative rate studies, the results were demonstrated in sequential selective oxidations of this compound here, which possesses both of a benzylic alcohol and an aliphatic one. And what we found is that, just as suggested by the relative rate studies, the benzylic alcohol oxidized preferentially to the aliphatic one in the absence of water, while when both of the aldehydes were present after the second oxidation, the aliphatic aldehyde was preferentially oxidized with the salt rather than the benzaldehyde, as suggested by these relative rate studies, the aldehydes. And it was thanks to the SURF grant, courtesy of Dr. John Tanaka, I was able to stay on UConn for the summer and conduct this research, which encompassed the aldehyde oxidations, carboxylic acid syntheses. I also did several novel reactions involving indoles and things like that to functionalize and then form aldehydes and stuff.